you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Ron Wallace here with Ballin' Down South Sports Network, here with another episode of the interview. I can tell you this coach that I got on today, he wears a lot of hats. He's a head football coach, a baseball coach, and athletic director. In his first season as head coach, he took his team to the playoffs, and he's been to back-to-back playoffs in the last two seasons. And the last season, they were the 2A Region 1 champs. And I can tell you, folks, he is a good coach. I've talked to him. He's been on our pregame show when we did Game of the Week with myself and KT Thorne and Icon Sports. Let me introduce you to none other than Chris Brazell. How you doing today, Coach?
Hey Ron, how are you doing? Thanks for having us.
Pretty good, Coach, man. I can tell you the weather is kind of a little dreary out there today. Did you guys be able to get any practice in today?
We've been able in the last week and a half been able to go outside one day, and that was last week. So fortunate enough for us, we was inside in the gym this morning. We're going from 8 to 10 a.m. Monday through Thursday, and just that's the best 2 hours of my day getting to be with those guys.
Man, I can tell you, Coach, looking at your resume, man, you've done quite a bit. I know you've been in the school system where you're at over there at Cottage Christian Academy. Your first season as head football coach, you took that team to the playoffs, and and since then you've been to another playoffs last season, and then you guys got away with the 2A Region 1 champs. How were you guys able to do that?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I love Cottage Hill Christian Academy. When I get up every morning, 20 years, of course, with the school system. My first 13 years, I was an offensive assistant. Made my way up to coordinator, and then, of course, after that, went into administration. And then I'm thankful for Mr. Jimmy Messer, who was our head of school at the time. Came down to my office and said, "We was looking for a head football coach," and he said, "Hey, I know who the next guy is going to be." And I said, "Well, I'm glad because I'm tired of hiring them as athletic director and hiring football coaches." And he said, "I want you to pray about it." And to be honest with you, I kind of joked about it and laughed. At 10 years prior, I could have saw myself being a head football coach. Our timing and our ways are not always the Lord's ways and the Lord's timing. And of course, at that particular opportunity, prayed about it, sat down and talked to my wife. My wife is just awesome. All the hats that I wear and the time. She knows this is my ministry and my calling. And of course, we got a daughter now. We got a 3-year-old. So I had a newborn at the time when I was asked about taking it over. But I just didn't want to be sitting back, 65, 70 years old on the front porch drinking lemonade and say I had an opportunity to try to do something about it. But, all the credit goes to our guys. Our guys had the opportunity to either go one way or the other, and they bought into what our and each and every day, these guys do a phenomenal job. This morning, I was singing their praises about how hard they've been working over the last week and a half. It's just kind of one of those deals where each and every day you get up, go to a place you like. But I'd have to say, most importantly, the buy-in from the kids. We was injury free that first year. And basically, we was going to control what we can control and stay positive. We was going to look forward and not look behind us. The windshield's bigger than the rearview mirror, and we say that all the time. And I'm just thankful for the opportunity I get each and every day to come to Cottage Hill Christian Academy.
Now, looking at some of the video you guys, some of the games you guys had throughout the season, and now you guys are moving back up to 3A again this upcoming season. You guys are going to play some heavy hitters like Hillcrest, Evergreen. Had the pleasure of having the head coach on this past weekend. Who do you have coming back? Rather they're junior, seniors, or underclassmen. Who do you guys have coming back? I know you had a line last few years, man. I've seen you guys break off some runs, some very long runs, 30 yards
Yes.
more. Talk about some of the guys that you got coming back.
Oh yeah. First and foremost, let me talk about that 3A Region 1. That is just a brutal. Every classification in Region 1, they're going to tell you it's the SEC West for sure. 3A Region 1. The last 5 years, somebody from this region has, of course, either won the Blue Map or played for the Blue Map, and of course, we're thankful and excited for the opportunity to be able to be in 3A Region 1 because we know if we come out of it, we're prepared to make a run at the state championship. You can look at the successes of Hillcrest, as you mentioned, a couple of years back. You look at Mobile Christian. Been there twice, and then of course Flomaton 2 years ago, and then Bayside. So that gives you an idea how difficult it is. Luckily, Mobile Christian has advanced up to 4A, but we're returning a lot of guys. 2 years ago when our staff took over, we had to bite the bullet, play a lot of young guys up front. We had 4 sophomores starting up front at that particular point in time and a freshman. Now those guys are a little bit heavier in their pants. They're a little bit stronger. They know what we're trying to do offensively. So our strength's going to be up front, and we got 4 guys that'll be seniors up front. And we're talking about 6'3", 275, 5'11", 270, 6'2", 330, and 5'11", 260. So we got some meat up there, and that's good. That's good for us because it starts up front. And when you start looking at those 4 seniors up front, and then you look at a senior tailback that we got, Jadarick Petway, J.D. Petway, everybody knows him. He set the school record last year for nearly 1,600 yards rushing. Of course, had 24 total touchdowns. And then, of course, he's phenomenal offensively, not only running the football, but catching it out of the backfield and also on the special teams for us. But he had 2,500 all-purpose yards. Our quarterback's coming back. He was just a sophomore last year. Kyle Hipp, what a tremendous year that he had last year as well. 24 touchdowns to 3 interceptions, managed the game for us, did a really good job. And then, of course, we got some guys that we feel are going to be special players for us at the receiver position as well. We have Trent and Tyler Thomas, 265 guys. One's 220, one's 209. And then, of course, we got Kelvon McBride, who's a sophomore. And then, of course, the guy that's going to anchor us at receiver who played a lot. He might be small in stature, but his heart's big, and that's Avery Rogers, who does a tremendous job out wide for us. So when you start looking from an offensive standpoint, we have some depth. It's just like any other year, making sure we keep these guys healthy and continue to progress as we move forward.
Now, Coach, also are you a football coach there? You're a baseball coach and also an athletic director. Talk about, I know you talked a little bit about your wife saying you had to wear all those hats, that's your calling and stuff like that. But tell the people exactly how difficult it could be, juggling those things, or how is it hard for you?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see myself ever doing this anywhere else except for Cottage Christian Academy. We talk to our guys about love all the time. I genuinely love the ministry of Cottage Hill Baptist Church and what the school sets out to do each and every day. I have great administration. I've been blessed in my life to be able to work with administration. Our current head of school, Mr. Jeremy Sandiford, is a big supporter of athletics. Those first 13 years when you was getting your feet wet and it was coaching football as an assistant, the head baseball coach, and teaching 6 classes a day. Now, those were some rough times for sure, a lot of hours and so forth. But now I'm in administration still as the athletic director. I'm part of our leadership team at Cottage Hill Christian Academy. So it is. And I get asked the question all the time, what's the difference between coaching high school football and high school baseball? I tell them all the time, it's not apples and apples. You're comparing apples to oranges. It's 2 different things. Football, you grind 7 days a week and you try to showcase your talent on Friday nights, put you guys in the best position to win. And it's very grueling and taxing and so forth. But then baseball season, you play so many games. You got to have a short memory. You got to forget it. If you get a beat on a Tuesday night because you got to come back on a Thursday or Friday and play another game, you get another opportunity. But like I said, I'm very, very, very thankful for where the Lord's planted me, and I'm just looking forward to the days ahead and continue to do this. But it takes a support cast, and I'm thankful for my family and my wife to be able to support me through these endeavors.
Well, the pandemic took the high school, the whole sports world on notice and shut it pretty much down. What have you guys been doing, the guidelines that you guys get from the state, and what have you guys been doing over there at Cottage Hill to, make sure that your athletes and all the students are going to be following the rules and doing what they need to do during this pandemic time?
Exactly right. As an administration, we called our whole coaching staff in from every sport. And weeks prior to us getting to go ahead to be able to go, we sat down as a coaching staff, and those meetings were hour and a half, 2-hour meetings to talk about, hey, what's it going to look like for Coach Price and our basketball program to get out there and start doing drills? What's it going to look like for our volleyball team to get out there and Coach Newton and do those things? So we sat down and said, okay, you guys give us a great idea. You guys understand the guidelines passed down from the National Federation to the State Association, and then from the State Association to give us the best practice guidelines. And what does that look like? And that's what's so great. We're surrounded by great coaches here at Cottage Hill that we can work together. So basically, what we do is we stagger the times so we don't have teams intermingling or crossing paths in our facilities or on campus. We do the checkpoints just like normal every day. We do the temperature checks. Kids, of course, our student athletes bring the mask with them because there's times where we might have meetings or doing walkthroughs from a football standpoint that we're inside that 6 foot. And we just want to take all precautions necessary to make sure the health and safety of our student athletes is the number one priority. And, sitting down, we was transparent with our families. We emailed and communicated with our families that these are the guidelines that we're putting forth or setting forth for Cottage Hill, and it's been really well received. And looking back on it at the end of that first week last week, we was very excited about not only having our kids on campus, but the way we was able to, kind of do things a little different than normal. And our kids bought into that. We spent a couple of days, which was very beneficial for us, educating our student athletes on what it was like to practice and train in COVID-19 life. So they thought they might have been sitting in a history or geometry class or something like that as we was educating those guys. But I couldn't be more proud of how our coaches, our school, our families, and everybody's responding to allowing student athletes back on campus.
Well, that's good. We know we're definitely living in a new norm right about now. And I saw just the other day the NCAA they're setting their guidelines to let the college guys come back on campus, and some of them have already started. And now they look like they're going to have some sort of a preseason on the college realm. And I think the state of Alabama. I can't speak for every other state, but I think they're trying to follow suit like the NCAA and watching them pretty closely, seeing how how they can do the high school round. So, Coach, are you guys planning on getting back to that playoffs whenever the season starts this year?
Hey, our goal. We talked to our guys this morning. As we broke down practice. We don't want to set a goal to just get into the playoffs. Our goal is to win 3A Region One. And of course, some might say that's a lofty goal. Our number one concern is just depth and numbers. Our core guys are just as good as anybody's. You got to be blessed along the season to keep everybody free from harm and injury and so forth. But I like our football team, and I like our football team because they come to work each and every day. And of course, we set goals, and one goal that we set 2 years ago was that we wanted to eat Thanksgiving dinner together as a team. That meant we were still playing in the playoffs. Now, we haven't accomplished that just yet, but every year that's our goal because we know that if you get to that point in the season, you have an opportunity. But, we're going to take it one game at a time. We're trying to prepare our guys with a very difficult non-region schedule. We got 2 5A opponents on our schedule this year. It was a little bit more difficult trying to find games when we have been successful over the last 2 years. But we open up with BC Rain at home as a 5A opponent, and then we go to Ladd Stadium and play LaFleur week 5. So those opportunities hopefully will help us down the stretch in region play to get us into the playoffs and have that opportunity to continue to compete and make it 3 years in a row.
Now, Coach, you got to get us over there on the hill so we can broadcast one of those games of yours.
That's exactly right. As KT says, the neighborhood. What's going on in the neighborhood? I do think we got one of the best kept secrets in Mobile. Once you find it, you realize, hey, it is a family atmosphere, and we'd love to have you guys. I tell you what, y'all do a tremendous job promoting that of sports, and especially high school sports, and promoting that of our student athletes, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Giving those guys the best experience as possible. And we judge our success on, if a kid wants to continue to play at the next level, what are we doing to try to promote that? And then, of course, we judge our success on how many kids come back to be around your program after they left and how many that you still come in contact with. Because if you're not talking to them after they leave here, then we failed and did something wrong, and we need to find something else to do as our calling or our occupation.
Well, Coach, while I let you go, anything you might want to tell some of these young kids out there that's playing, now may not be playing football, but maybe playing some other sport that's coming up. Anything you want to say to those kids?
Just continue to work hard, control the things that you can control. I'm not a patient guy. I want everything to happen yesterday and so forth. Just stay patient, keep grinding. We have some core values at Cottage Hill that we kind of implement to our student athletes, and I'm gonna sound like a broken record to them if they're watching, but we try to talk about aligning our priorities, and that's the best advice I can give you. Keep Christ first, family at heart. The family at heart is not only your immediate family, but your brothers that you go into battle with each and every day, then academics, and then whatever sport you're playing. And we have a lot of multi-sport athletes, and I'm thankful for our coaches working together like that. And then after that situation where your athletics are involved, then your extracurricular activities, your girlfriends, your gaming, your social media, whatever all that is next. I'm getting older, so I'm not too accustomed to what's going on these days. But just align your priorities and keep grinding each and every day.
Well, folks, there you have it. College Hill Christian Academy head football coach Chris Brazell. Thank you for coming on the network, Coach.
Hey, Ron, once again, thanks for having us, man, and appreciate all you guys do. Y'all doing a fantastic job.
All right, take care, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.